Okay, call this meeting to order. Start with a roll call. Do you want to start, please?
Sure. Roy Ryanwitz, Tim Young, Mark Blackmore, Joseph Cataletta, Sue Blodgett,
David Morse,
Aaron Farbo, John Day.
thank you very much. And there's members online. We designate Don as an alternate. I don't think that's all we need. Let's do the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
That's you. Jose, can you hear us? Wow.
Yes, with a little bit of.
Let's,
There. The echo gone?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, thank you. My courage report, I want to thank everybody for being here. And I especially want to thank Delia.
I thought you were adding an item. Oh.
I have not done with my courage report.
Usually you do that in the very beginning.
Oh, okay. And I would like to add an item under new business dealing with the members of the commission, adding another full-time member of the commission. If I could have a motion to add that under new business.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, now to continue, I want to thank Delia, Dan, and Stacy and already. Cameron, for all your hard work and that you've done over the years, and we really appreciate the work you've done, and are gonna miss you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's about it for my chair's report. I don't see any citizens here, so I assume there's no citizen comment. Oh, excuse me. Well, you're coming up under your business. Do you have any comments that to do with anything else we're dealing with today that's not on the agenda, Jose?
No, I did not.
We have some meeting minutes to approve from May 15th and June 5th. We give you guys a minute to look at those, and somebody can make a motion to approve those.
Move to accept the minutes of the Thursday, May 15th, 2025. Minutes?
Are you gonna do both meetings together?
No, right now, just May 15th.
Pardon me?
Just May 15th.
Just one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
I have an extension on that one. I wasn't here.
Oh, yeah,
That's why I was doing it. So.
okay. We have a motion for the June 5th meetings. So moved.
There.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain, I wasn't at that meeting.
Okay,
Sit and bite.
Yeah.
great. Okay. Under new business, we have the Shane Pollock, Andrews Road, minor two-lot subdivision. Is this the one we got the email on?
No,
Oh, okay.
the other one.
So, there's nobody here to present on that, so,
This was received and scheduled to be reviewed at the wetlands meeting on 7/7, so I think. You just receiving this,
okay, so we're just receiving it, we're not, there's no action taken.
no action taken.
Okay,
Yeah, approve a subdivision just until after wetlands. is
Okay.
decision.
Okay.
But they could have come to talk about it, but maybe they,
so we just, pardon me?
Move to table.
Move to table it? We can have a motion to table this?
So
Yes, second. All in favor? Second. Aye. Gotcha. Any, yeah, yeah,
would you show in the minutes, Amy, that it was tabled because it hasn't met the IWWA?
okay, thank you.
if you did have any questions, you could let us know and we could forward them back to the applicant.
Did anybody have any questions on it that we could, any concerns that we sent to the applicant?
Just ask Delia or Cameron if all the information required for an application was contained in the application and fees paid and everybody's happy with
I
it.
can't speak to fees, but the application itself looks fine.
He's paid.
He's paid, so we're just waiting, so we just,
Yeah, it requires a wetlands referral.
okay. Great. Okay, so that moved, on to, new business meeting, the. Yeah, Bacchiarelli and Andre Carnegie Landing thing, we have an email from the, engineer. You were aware of this, Jose?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay, he would like to have it, tabled till next, week, because he cannot be here
That's my,
next month.
So he couldn't attend, but he asked if we could attend.
Pardon me?
He asked if we could attend instead of him, and we accepted. So I believe we don't need to
Oh,
table it.
okay,
We can handle it.
okay. Okay, so, yeah, what would you like to, tell us what you want to do here?
Yes, absolutely. So we recently purchased the house in 20 Herending Landing, and we are looking to add solar panels to the house just to make it more resilient to grid outages, be a little bit more environmentally friendly. And we would like to put the solar panels in the side of the house. But it happens that we don't have enough space there, but we own the lot next to the lot with the house. So what we're asking is to move the lot lines a little bit so we have enough space for the solar panels in the same lot as the house in 20 Herending Landing.
Okay, so does this, are both lots still buildable lots with this land swap?
Yes, the lot is still buildable.
Okay, do you have any input on this, Dan? Or,
It meets the required setbacks for the proposed solar array. And my read of the zoning table, how they've broken out the proposed lots, that they still are buildable for our standards.
I provided a memo, a one-page memo to everybody that just goes over the history of this particular lot, just because this is the second re-subdivision of it. So it just highlights what happened at the last subdivision meeting and what was discussed via the minutes on that subdivision. Just so everyone is aware and up to date, but it doesn't appear to be that there's any requirements on the lots that would hinder this from moving forward.
so just wanted to add that normally when you change the boundary line of a lot that has a septic system, you have to go to the health department. Matt Maynard has submitted his B100A review to the health department and he hasn't received it back. But this lot is getting larger, not smaller, so it's less of a concern. And the other lot, from what I heard, is still largely buildable, so it shouldn't be as much of a problem as if it was flipped. Like if the lot with the solar panels were getting smaller, then it would be more of a concern.
Cameron?
Yeah.
On your memo, item I, Jeffrey Gordon noted once the lots merged. So these lots have not been merged?
So essentially what happened on the May 18th meeting was that previously the lot had been divided into 3 lots. And then on the May 18th, lots 2 and lots 3, which are the 2 vacant ones at the top, they were merged into 1 lot. So that's highlighted in the map that you've been given. It shows lot 2 and lot 3 separately. But at the May 18th meeting, those were merged. So what Jeffrey Gordon was meaning when he said that was that if they wanted to divide lots 2 and lots 3 again, they'd have to do another re-subdivision plan. That's not what's happening here. It's just what was mentioned at the meeting at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, so lots 2 and 3, so that's actually a.
They're merged and they're shown that through the vacant existing
Yeah.
combined lot
Make one
area.
big lot,
Okay.
2 lot.
Oh, okay, so now that clears up a lot.
So this application is to move the boundary line of lot 1 and the merged lot 2 and 3?
Yeah, so it
Okay.
shows it by, in really tiny letters, it says former lot 1-2 line. Right underneath where the solar panels are going in, that's the former lot line between 1 and 2, and it's just being moved back up.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
So, Mr. Andre, you're still gonna have the 2 lots, right? Or it's not 1 lot? It's still 2 lots?
So it's still 2 lots, the one with the house and the empty lot.
So you're just moving the boundary line over.
So with moving the boundary line, will lot 2 be buildable or not?
It's lot 2 and 3.
Yes.
But can we go back?
Yes, they'll both still be buildable.
So if you can see on the
Four.
screen, the combined lot 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Is showing it is 4.87 acres. And over here, the other, it's showing that lot 2, which I think is the lot that the house is on, where the solar panels are going, is, I'm sorry, just the portion that's being switched from one to the other is the 0.53 acres.
So I guess what I'm asking is, the combined lot 2 and 3
Under a different application.
are under a different application, are they still buildable as 2 separate lots?
No, because they're now
No.
merged.
They're one,
So what would have to happen in order to further subdivide, to re-subdivide them?
If in the future, if they wanted to come back with another application, they would have to re-subdivide if they could meet the rules at the time.
Re-subdivide lot 2 and 3.
If that's what they wanted to
Yeah,
do.
right,
Then they're
That's
doing-
only if
Yeah,
they wanted to do that.
That's not what they're doing today.
Understood.
So I guess what I'm asking, with the extension where the solar panels are, would it still be subdividable under the regulation? Doesn't that?
Well,
that's not.
It's 4.87 acres, so that's large enough.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter because that's not what he's doing today. You'd only have to be in compliance at some point that he does come in. But your minimum lot size in a subdivision is less than 2 acres and he has 4.87 acres, so it should be large enough.
Correct.
Under today's rules,
Yep,
but if you
yep.
change them,
Yep.
you know,
So is there? We are missing one thing from the health department, that 100 or whatever.
Yeah, the engineers.
Should be 100.
Yeah, people today. As this is not a subdivision or a re-subdivision, no wetlands world's required.
and there's no wetlands regulated activities anyway, so.
So we can approve this week.
So,
No,
Pending the
can we approve it pending the,
B100A.
Normally, I'd say no, because you shouldn't hold in case they were to deny, but the lot is getting larger, so it's less of a concern. If it was getting smaller, you might be concerned that they wouldn't have enough space for their reserve septic, but this is getting larger. At the same time that the other piece is still plenty larger than. So then,
so we could approve it contingent on as long as that.
Yeah.
right,
The health department comes
but
back.
normally it's not a good practice to make decisions
Right.
contingent on some other independent agency.
And then, hold a couple months. Right, under the conditions, I think we should, I'd like to move to, approve it. Pending the, positive board.
I will second that.
Okay. So all in favor?
I.
Any opposed?
Yeah.
Any abstentions? So moved. There you go, Mr. Andre. Good luck. with the
Thank you so
solar
much for your time. Thank you.
That was a pending the
That
approval.
was pending, as long as it,
Pending the B100A.
B100.
That's the condition that,
That's the
that they
condition.
receive approval from the health department.
You still neutral.
Okay.
I would like to make a comment though for the record. I'm concerned that this application was only submitted to the land use office 2 days ago. And we've worked over the past to try and make sure that the land use office, the CEO, and the commission had time to look at documents with at least a week's notice. I voted yes to approve this because it was pretty straightforward and simple, but I would like the conditions to show, because it's straightforward and simple, be allowed very little lead time for the land use office to review this. And for the commission to review any documents. I don't think it's a good practice to do this, and we were working our way towards at least allowing a week ahead of the meeting to have the documents in the land use office. But I just want to put that as a comment. Like I said, I voted for this.
it's also a little odd because our meeting got postponed by a week, so ordinarily this would have been postponed. Now, this would have, it came in 3 days ago, would have been after our month,
So we'll put it in next one.
so it would have been next month, I think, that I had full time. But because our meeting got pushed because of the team, we're off a week.
So they would have had more time to get it in, right?
Well, because it wouldn't have been until next month. But I
That's what I'm
just,
saying.
so we
That
got lucky on this one that our meeting was
That
postponed.
it was squeezed in, so, but anyway, I don't think it's good practice to do that, sure.
That's common practice, unfortunately, that we get a lot of last minute applications prior to, on the Wetlands Commission as well. But we're kind of constrained by that we have to receive these.
Well, receiving them and approving them are two different timeframes. So I have no problem with an office receiving them, maybe presenting them to the commission, but want to make sure there's enough time given to both the land use office and the commission to look at documents. There are very few documents in this case, but that's not always the case.
Yeah.
And I don't want developers or to come in 2 days before a meeting with a full.
I thoroughly understand the frustration because it usually fell on me,
Absolutely, yeah.
but the law says that they can submit it up to 24 hours before the meeting. So if they submit it, the clock starts ticking, so you don't have to make a decision then,
Exactly.
but it does have to come to the commission and you have to receive it because.
And we can receive it in both.
And not
that we'll
exactly
review
with this
next month.
application, but with subdivisions, if you don't approve them by the deadline, they're gonna be automatically approved. So we have to,
But the deadline's 65 days away. Doesn't have to be 2 days away. So all I'm saying is we can accept it and then say, all right, well, we accepted the application. But it'll be reviewed and voted on at the next regular meeting.
Part
Or
of-
in the 2-week meeting.
I definitely agree with your rationale. I think the circumstances, with the calendar and the transition and the simplicity of the application kind of lend itself to making a decision on it tonight. We did, Cameron was able to find the information he needed. I was able to find the information I needed and it worked out here. But on a tougher application, I get what you're saying completely. We don't get enough time sometimes to have a good look at these.
And that's all I wanted recorded in the minutes, that these are special circumstances that allow for expedited review. The shortness of the application, the availability of the planner to look at it, the all set dates of our meeting, all of that led to allowing this to happen, not to be a precedent for every future application. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Justin.
Already typed it.
So, Mr. Andre, you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of our highly entertaining meetings if you wish.
I will drop. Thank you so much.
Okay, this is where the other item I asked be, put in would be, we are down, full-time member, and looking for, I've been in contact with, Doug Porter, who has been very absent for the past year, and I talked to him. And, we had a long chat. I told him I would, especially coming up with the regulations that we have to change, that I would really appreciate, his involvement. And he unfortunately has a meeting tonight, but he said that he would be committed to come and be a full-time member. And we're going through it and through the bylaws, which we all got a copy of tonight, because I, actually was dealing with Dwight and talking to Chan, and Chan informed me that for their bylaws, we can appoint an alternate member to the full-time member of the board. So with the majority vote of the board. So what I'm asking today, and Doug is on board with this, that we appoint Doug to be a full-time member of the board. The one thing that he has a ton of experience being with planning and zoning in the town. He's been chair of this board, been on it for years. And just his experience with building and with the regulations that we have to change with multifamily and, more, maybe duplexes or multifamily housing that we need to change. I would really think that we could use this expertise. So that is my reason for that ask. I would like somebody to make a motion to, move Doug from an alternate to a full-time member.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
No discussion?
No, I'm sorry. Yes, discussion, please.
So what's the vacancy that Doug's transition is gonna fill?
Jeff
Jeff
Markowitz.
Markos.
Okay,
I think Doug's been an asset to the Planning and Zoning Commission and to the town of Woodstock, both as a service on different various boards and the Board of Selectmen. And I think he really brings a lot to the table on this committee. And I think it would be good to have him at a full seat. And I'm a Republican.
But that doesn't matter here, right?
That's right, that's right. And we're gonna mix it up, we're gonna go DR.
So I don't know. If we should do
Well, Amy suggested it. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus.
It's okay, I got this.
So do we need to find another alternate then, or do we not?
Yeah, that's up to the,
There would be an alternate seat open.
yeah, and then that's up to the, selectmen, I think, to appoint an alternate.
Okay.
That's correct.
It's, difficult to find people,
It's getting real hard to find people.
just to bring Doug back on as a full-time member. I think it's, I've always appreciated his insights and his depth of knowledge. So,
Did he share his reasoning for not being here for the last year or so? I mean, was that like a protest because he's not a full member or?
I know that he has issues with the, the PO. POCD, I get mixed up with COPD, but POCD. I know that really frustrates him because, he says we do all this work and then we don't follow it. And I think that's been kind of a little, protest on that. And just I think he was frustrated that he wasn't a full-time member. Just, that's kind of hearsay. So I just, I did contact him because I wanted to find out if he was interested in, coming back or being involved. And, just so we could either plan on asking him to resign or get him on board.
And that's our purview as opposed to the Democratic Town Committee, the Republican Town Committee to promote, have different people run for different types of.
Our purview is that we can promote an alternate member to the,
Oh, okay.
to the board. That's in our bylaws,
The remaining term.
to the
of
remaining
missing
term of the
member.
person that left. And
And
then hopefully we can get him whenever that term ends. He will get on the ballot, but
Yeah.
that's beyond my.
That's no Jeff Markowitz.
Jeff Markot's up to something.
But okay.
Oh, is he? So that's the reasoning and thought process behind that.
Think it's a good plan.
Any other discussion?
Hopefully he's here. I mean, is an asset when he's here.
Yeah, and he was, I mean, he couldn't be here tonight. They're opening up that Weiss and Hale project they did, and there was a 200-person reception there tonight, so he couldn't be there.
We weren't invited.
No, that's in Pomfret. Darn. So if there's no more discussion, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor?
I
Any opposed?
opposed.
Any abstentions? Thank you. Okay, now on to old business, the POCD updates, we get we have the minutes from the, POCD committee. So not here, and you can speak to that too, thank you for the meeting.
Oh, I thought you guys already had them.
We have them somewhere here. Get them?
Or at least possible, but it's impossible that they might not them from the previous meeting.
I have.
Well, I could probably find them online and show them on the screen if you wanted to
Yeah.
look at them that way.
See them. Oh, here they are, under the Woodstock recreation needs.
Is that the minutes though? Is that? That's something different. Bring it up
No,
from the Woodstock Recreation Commission.
no, that's a separate thing. Yep.
We're gonna find them on the town website. Which two meetings, May 1st and June 5th?
May 15th and June 6th.
Color on the screen. This is the May 1st minutes.
I think the highlight from this section is that the Conservation Commission, instead of having their own plan of conservation, which they have, they want it included in this, because this is the plan of conservation and development. So, and they'll keep it on their website, but they want it included this time around, which makes sense. I mean, all of the stuff that they've worked on should be in this as
But they're gonna
document,
update
as
it, right?
reference. They are working to
25
update it,
years
yes,
old?
because that was this, it hasn't been updated in like
25 years?
yeah, so that was the catch, and they are working to update it, so they should have a submission of a newer plan to go in, but they want to include it in this document.
Okay, that makes sense.
Um. And then we talked about. Like the importance of. History in our town.
Historic preservation.
Yeah, there is no historic preservation conversation in the town of Woodstock at all, and we have all these great villages, and there's funding at a state level, all kinds of things that could happen, and there's absolutely nothing going on in the town about that, so I think that's an important thing to include. And then we talked about, instead of just including numbers from the last P O C D to this P O C D, when you talk about like demographics and changes, that you go back farther, because there's so many newer people in town that don't understand like the history, so looking at the population changes and stuff, instead of just in the last, comparing the last one to this one, but going back further to paint that picture of the history, because we're trying to say that it's important, so people need to know what it is.
Yeah.
And then. Inland Wetlands has very in-depth information and actions that they've submitted. Is there any other questions?
And that, can we go to the,
It said in here in this page that's showing on the screen that I was gonna get some information about history to make it more robust. I don't think I ever got anything about that.
Probably not.
I'm gonna work on it a little bit more tomorrow, and then if we don't run out of paper, I'm gonna make paper copies for you all, but it's already quite long. And so once you get it, you can discuss with your new planner if there's things you wanna take out of it and whatever changes you wanna make. But I tried to make sure that all the sections in the state statute that you're supposed to cover are in there. And I, so far, have not had a chance to write the section on transportation or education. But I've tried to work on an awful lot of it. So you'll be getting it next week, and I'm gonna email it to you, but I'm also gonna try to print paper copies. It's gonna take a lot of paper because it's already pretty long. So if there's anyone who prefers it not to have a paper copy, that would save me a little stack of paper.
why don't you just make a couple of paper copies and send it out on email, say paper and,
Okay,
make 3 or 4 copies.
who's gonna duke it out for which paper?
I want
gets the
paper copies.
I mean, does it, well, actually, maybe I should.
Well, so many pages.
Right now, I think it's 115.
Yeah, you can just send it electronically to me. Yeah. I'll cut down another tree. Or spot it out.
Burn the tops, the state ones.
So it's Joe, Tim, and David.
Anybody else want a paper copy? I'm sitting here, don't get them.
Okay.
Mark wants one now.
What?
Mark wants one now.
Okay,
Don't let the copy.
Joe, Tim, David, Mark, it's 4.
Oh, okay.
Print both sides.
Of course.
Yeah, then it's only 50 pieces of paper.
If you go to 6-point font,
Yeah.
pages.
Send it with a magnifying glass.
Right.
Look at those big magnifying things for all the paper. Okay, can we go to the June 5th minutes, please? Yeah, don't leave it, John.
Thing never used to pop up, now it's almost popping up.
Any highlights, Amy?
Um. So we talked about partnerships between towns, like. Currently, there's a tri-town administrator and like Putnam and Pomfret share a transfer station type of thing, so because of the burden financially of everywhere, that might be something that towns are doing going forward. So was exploring, you know, what towns could we work with and what could we share, because it's a trend that's starting. And I would hate to see Woodstock be the last one to think about it and be left out of all the partnerships. So that was a big governance one. Economic development, it's the same thing that we've always said. You know, focus on agriculture and explore tourism possibilities, because there's ecotourism, agritourism, and recreation. Not saying that it's will be the solution, but it should be explored as an option. Cause we all know that we need some sort of income and economic development in this town. And then housing is the same things that we've always discussed about water and septic being concerned. They did recommend considering like tiny homes as more of an option. It's something that's relatively new, and I don't know if you guys ever talked about actual tiny homes, and if there was like a tiny home development, would that be its own thing or not? Just trying to figure out how to get this affordable housing thing going. I know the Board of Selectmen are working on the trailer ordinance, and they're leaning towards that, including prefabbed and modular homes. It's kind of like anything that isn't built on a foundation, so they're reworking that. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but tiny homes are built on a foundation, so that's something that you guys could possibly discuss, and there could be, I don't know, tiny home developments for affordable housing or more affordable housing. And then adaptive reuse and repurpose of existing structures was a big conversation in that meeting too. So we have a lot of like larger old farmhouses and larger houses in town. There's one on Peabrook Road just past Foskets on the left. And that, when I was a kid, that was apartments. And then it went back to a single family, and now it's like empty, you know, 3/4 of the year. So just thinking about what buildings could be repurposed and like setting out, you know, guidelines to meet what would have to be for repurposing, would be a certain size, like, you know what I mean? But that would help with historic structures too. You'd be keeping the outside maybe and being able to repurpose what it's used for, whether it's, you know, business to residential or apartments or something, might be helpful for both of those. I think that's the highlights.
Okay. Thank you very much. So. We're gonna be kind of in a transition here to next month to see, as we switch from. Current. Building officials and building practices to our new. Planner and. Zoning office. So we'll see how that works and what they have to add next month. We have that MOU for Eastern Connecticut Conservation District that was in our packet. And other regionalization trend.
Did you want to talk about the stuff from the conservation team? Oh, that's the, thing with all the colors.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to see with this. I'll do that. It's the.
Oh, okay,
Staying in order.
okay.
Um. So would this be more under the inland wetlands Or is this the,
It definitely seems like it, because it says municipal partner shall, or something, so sign of the, at least one town stamp that says such conservation in the wetlands, so it seems like, yeah, it might not be.
I think, I'm on the watershed, I attend their meetings. Strongly tried to avoid becoming their chair. No offense to chairman,
no, I
Um,
understand.
but. For this to actually be effective, it should be beyond just the selectmen. There should be other boards and commissions that are aware of what they're trying to do. Because to be effective, your regulations may need some tweaks. So last time they did this sort of thing, I think they just went to all the towns. All the selectmen were asked to sign it and they signed it and they had a little ceremony, but I don't know that it ever went much beyond that. So I think it's good that the selectmen are sharing it with you, so you're aware of what they're trying to do.
So this isn't law, this is just,
They're trying to. This is what I think it is, maybe I'm not thinking the same thing.
they're looking.
I think I'm thinking of, well, the Natural River Watershed Plan, that's what I thought it was. They're creating a plan about how to improve.
Yeah, it
sorts
looks
of
like they
things
want
within
you
the
to put
watershed.
in, best management practices
Right.
for.
There's also another watershed that's sort of doing the same thing, but it's a different watershed, so this one. I think it's being done by the last Green Valley.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of an overlap.
So they're, it's like they're looking for grants.
No, it says they were awarded a grant.
Oh, they're, okay.
It says the primary purpose of the grant is to provide funding to establish a non-child watershed advisory board. Which will be comprised of municipal representatives, conservation professionals from government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and other local stakeholders within the watershed.
And they'd love to have more members if anybody's interested.
Probably have to talk to the first selectman, because this says the first selectman will assign at least one town staff person to that board.
Town staff person,
That's what it says.
that's not you guys, that's a paid. Like staff is a. Employee.
Or town
It's a
commission,
staff person
or town
Oh.
commission volunteer, yeah.
What page is that on?
Page 3, under municipal partner shall, number 1. So somebody, whoever that volunteers would have to attend their advisory board meetings.
Somebody from the conservation, the inland wetlands, we have a better idea of what is going on in town. It's-
With the watershed stuff, conservation is more their focus. I'll bring this to the attention of the Wetlands Commission, I'll form their agenda for their upcoming meeting in advance, and I'll add this to that. To discuss a little bit and reach out to the first selectman if interested.
I'm guessing conservation would want Jean Pilo to do it if she would
Yeah.
work with them for years, but I don't know if she would be willing to.
Marla
I've been
Bucks
at the
might be
meetings,
interested.
but I don't know if she wants to take on a committed role.
So this is just informational, we don't have to have it.
Right. When they actually are done with their plan, they may bring it to you and ask you to start doing some changes in your regs or something.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on them?
Earlier this year, ECCD wanted us to work on dirt road, stormwater runoff issues, a lot of sedimentation to roadside wetlands. They wanted to partner not on a grant, but we're kind of on a pause for being involved in grants if there's a contribution or staff contribution attached to them. Budgetary reasons, I think, are the issue. So we paused on that, partnership with ECC that allows stormwater, runoff, best management practices. There is some smart ideas, but, the amount of participation that they needed from staff to be involved and it's kind of champ out prohibitive.
I know the work they did on Payne Road, which had just a hill, gravel hill, it's amazing how little runoff and how well the roads held up. I don't know how much money they spent on, they basically redid the whole road. And we had all that rain this spring and there was just no gullying, no sheet erosion, the drainage systems caught. You know, I think all that was running off was water. They could move water away so the job they did was great. I was really surprised at how well it held up to the rain. And you guys been running over that road. Held up real well. So. It can certainly. Road can certainly be improved. It's not cheap. I certainly didn't want them to pave my road, which that Payne Road, my road, I live on the road. So I was like, I've always been, please don't pave it. Don't ever complain about the condition of it. But it's in really good shape. So, I mean, that's certainly something that is still. So hopefully things will get better. See how it goes. If we're done with that, we can move on to the Woodstock Recreation gave us a little pamphlet on their POCD recommendations. This is very important. I don't know if they've been included in the POCD before, but I think it's important that they have that in there, so it's kept on the radar. A nice job with the J. Swan Memorial Tennis Courts. So it does a lot for the town, have lots of stuff for people to do.
Funding page on that one is kind of devastating.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
We're like less than half of all the other towns in comparison. Gross, right?
Yeah. That's probably not gonna get any bigger in the near future.
That's why they wanted it in the 10-year plan, because it is legitimate.
Legitimate concern
Yeah.
among all the many other legitimate
Right.
concerns.
But like you said, this one's not one that's ever really been talked about as part of a town plan.
Yeah. It's a big part of the development. Anybody have any inputs or conversation about the Woodstock rec needs?
I'm impressed with the summary and the data they collected for it.
Yeah, they
To
did a lot
give
of
a
work.
reasonable comparison. Oh. Helpful if they had factual information, was just anecdotes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we are done with that. We go to home occupations. You have any? Down by the okay. And then we're budget review and bills. I did not see any in there. To the ZEO report. Your grand finale.
We're in deck and shed season and pool season. See by this permit list. We've had quite a few of these. Let's say a third of these also had, upland review area reviews by the, wetlands agency. We released one bond, for ENS after a couple mowings on a property English neighborhood road. We are still holding the driveway bond until, apron satisfactory, structure reviewed by the highway department. I don't have it on here, but an update on Bike Club, the aggressive dog training that's occurring on Chow Road. We got more information this week from neighbors to kind of paint a fuller picture of going on there, and it looks like it's if there's food trucks and events, it's kind of leaning that way. John and I, Miskowski, discussed this a bit yesterday. And we advised one of the neighbors who wants to show us all his phone video to meet with John. Just for John to pick up this case file, look at the new information and go from there. The two dates that I had planned to go out there and witness this, because we've been invited, were 2 inches of rain. So that just couldn't happen. But I think we have enough information now from planners and the property owner to make a decision on this, like geared towards special permitting. It's a busy month. We've get a lot of things last minute or asked to make a quick decision on things before we get out, and we've kind of worked really hard. I think Cameron and Delia too, to try to get this work flowing and not leave a lot of stuff unnecessarily on the table. We met with Tyke yesterday for about a couple hours all together. Talk about office protocols, our digital and paper file systems, the meeting administrative needs of each of the boards, who's gonna run the Zooms, you know, all those kind of things, when dates do the agendas get filed. We'll have Tracy still in the office through this transition. She's on vacation next week, so the lights will be dark in that office aside from Monday. And then John will start fully on 7/7, a Monday. We're tentatively right now Monday afternoons and Thursday mornings.
Are they gonna have someone else do the wetlands and zoning?
He plans to do all the boards.
In 2 days?
I think they're probably it's probably gonna shift around and I'm not sure who they might bring in and assign to certain tasks in their group.
Chandler was here. Chandler said that Mike was gonna take care of wetlands
Okay,
and that John would take care of zoning and ZBA.
I think
That's
it's,
what Chandler said.
it might be, I hate to speak for Tyke, but
Yeah.
I think it might be a little more nebulous. They might, well, I think they're trying to assess how much, what needs are needed, I guess. They both have, they're both in the wetland certified, they're both Casio certified, they're both AICP planners, and they have a few more of those types of people on their roster. I think, maybe for John personally, there's more convenience that he lives nearby. And that, but I think, I'll probably have to have them speak for what their plan is. But I think, right now it's only budgeted maybe 8-hour office hours on average per week. But fully, responsive remotely any time of day. So we just have to see how their format, handles all this. Yeah,
Did you get any sense of whether John would be at these meetings?
yes,
Okay, good.
Yeah. When I told him CBA's even meeting on a regular basis now, I kind of, leaned back a little bit, but, he's aware that each, commission has, a Zoom element to them, and that the staff is responsible for administering the Zoom at all these meetings. So his presence is, required. I think, but we discussed the technology that we use for these hybrid meetings and that you really need someone here to set that up and run it. Wetlands is a fully remote thing that I can run from, my living room. But ZBA and PZC are hybrid and work effectively that way. So somebody will have to be here to open the doors, turn on the lights, if Amy's not here first, and set up this equipment. Any other transition questions? It's kind of just wait and see how it goes. But John has my cell phone number, and I told him I'm available to talk about, any questions you might have, or protocols, procedures that he might not know how we operate. I showed him how we've been tracking permits in our spreadsheets, and he was pretty wowed by that, and I hope that he maintains that record. So we have some gaps in our PZC record when there's been some transition. And I'm hoping that he just picks up right where I left off, and Tracy will provide good continuity with that. I mentioned briefly earlier that the Andrews Road subdivision will be reviewed by the Wetlands Commission at their 7/7 meeting. Been happy to help you guys, and hope for the best for town and board and Tyke.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I think that brings us to Mr. Young's favorite time of the meeting. Oh, sorry.
Because this is the last meeting, I just want to express my appreciation to Delia, Dan, and Cameron for the work that they supported our commission and the town and getting us through some difficult years and challenging years, but it's been a pleasure working with you guys. So thank you for what you've been doing.
Thank you.
It's been a long 9 years.
Anybody else?
Move to adjourn.
Somebody gonna second that?
No.
All in favor?
Bye.
Any opposed?
Yeah, now.
Two week vacation.
Most of the time. Phrase. I moved to it. Like, I looking forward to walk. Boy.